Hi, konnichiwa, and irashai. Welcome to Culturally Distressed. I'm Miyoko Sakatani. I'm a second generation Japanese American or Nisei, and I am a straight baby boomer. And thank you so much for joining us today for Culturally Distressed. And, this is the original podcast for anybody with cultural confusion or cultural challenges or cultural curiosity about life, about love, about everything in between. And we're just happy to be here and we're happy that you joined us. And I'm happy to be with my partner, Loic.
Thank you, Miyoko. Happy to be here. Hi, everyone. Bienvenue. My name is Rick Pichot, and I'm a gay French-American millennial. So I've had my fair share of culturally confused moments in my life.
Yes, actually, everyone has some level of cultural distress.
hmm
Yeah. So, anyway, let's catch up. So tell me, how was your week? How was your life?
Everything's going great. I apologize for people watching on YouTube. I'm a little bit scruffy at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
I had, you like that?
I
But
noticed it was a little heavier.
yes, it is. Yeah. And the reason for that is I actually had like gum surgery last week.
Oh,
So I didn't want to trim my beard because I don't want to apply any pressure on my face. Um but yeah, surgery went well. So I'm
I thought,
still,
I thought you had
recovering.
I thought you had gum surgery earlier.
Yeah, so it was actually a redo because the
Oh,
first time didn't take.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, which was annoying. But second and last try. It's kind of like weddings for me. Second and last try. I'm not doing a third time.
I think it'll work.
But thanks. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's rainy season here in LA. So it does feel like it's, holiday. I just want to stay inside and drink a
Yeah,
hot chocolate and watch the great British Bake Off, which is my holiday TV show.
great show.
What about you, Miko? How are you doing?
Yeah, I up here in Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area. Yes, we're having rain also. And I'm
hmm
gonna be very cold tonight, so we're finally getting this is like it finally feels like we're getting into the season, you know?
Yeah.
So tonight apparently is supposed to be very cold, so we'll prepare for that. But anyway, yes, life is good, and, our ukulele band, uh, the all Asian ukulele band that I belong to, 10-member band, we had our annual community sing-along. And, what we do is we just, have a space and 80 people showed up and we have people bring their ukuleles and we have the sing-along on the big screen. We have the lyrics and the chords so people can play along and sing along, and it's just a community event. It's free. And we provide nourishment and, we sing, we sang some protest songs and we sang some Hawaiian songs and Japanese songs, and, it was great fun, and the feedback that we got afterwards was something like, this was such a break to have from the world around,
Mm.
and it was just a fun, it was just wonderful community.
That's amazing. And you're always so full of surprises. I didn't know you were part of a ukulele band. Since when?
I was thinking of that when I was thinking about, okay, what can I share about what was happening to me? And I thought, you know something? I don't think Loic knows about my ukulele band.
No, this was news to me. So yes, when did you start?
Oh, the band's been going on for about 15 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, we play for mostly, facilities, elder facilities and assisted
Okay.
living facilities and nursing homes. And, we do it all for free, of course, but it's just so lovely to connect with these wonderful, lovely elders.
Yeah.
And, it's really funny, and not funny, but even the ones that are just really withdrawn and they don't speak and they're just sitting in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and you you start playing the music and, there's just this little movement in their hands or their head, and, it's like music really connects.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's a beautiful, beautiful gift.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And I love how you can leverage, all of your many talents to bring joy into the world. Do you play any other instrument?
Besides ukulele,
Yeah.
I started with guitar,
Okay.
and I could probably still play some guitar, but, the ukulele is so handy. It's small and,
Yeah.
it's easy to do the chords. Um, yeah, so that's it. I tried to learn piano, but that was too challenging for me.
And was
How
that when you were a kid, or did you learn as an adult?
all as an adult.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
'Cause
how about you? Do you have any instruments or that you play?
no, I wish I would play an instrument, but I didn't. Like, I mean, no, in like French school, in like middle school, everyone has like music class. And what you would do is that you would do like the flute, the small flute. So we would do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't really for me. I was really good at singing. So yeah, because you also sing in French classes. So I had really, amazing grades. And then teenagehood happened for me, and I completely lost control of my voice when my voice started to change, which was so weird because I could hit all the notes when I was a child.
Yeah.
And then my voice changed, and I had no idea what to do with it. And I guess I was also embarrassed about this whole thing. So I tried over the years to get back into it. I even took some like singing classes at some point. But I don't know, I guess I'll never get back to the level that I was as a child, and it's kind of daunting. So I'm I'm just giving up on that dream.
You're at the level at which you are, it's just a matter of getting the right match for you.
Yeah, okay.
Find the right musician that helps you find your voice. It'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to one of our friends' birthday party on Saturday night, and she booked like a karaoke
Oh,
room, which was a lot of fun. Yeah.
yeah. Did you do it?
Yeah. I did part of it. I didn't do too much. Patrick is a singer, so I feel
Really?
like
Oh.
with my comedy, I get a lot of spotlight. So I also love to let the spotlight shine on him because he has such a beautiful voice.
Oh,
It's which
oh,
is
no.
so sexy, by the way.
Oh my god, I wanna hear him sing.
I love a man who can sing. I
Oh
think it's
my
a very attractive quality.
so he sings at karaoke?
Yeah, he sang, and he's actually part of the gay men's chorus in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Right, yeah, cool.
So yeah, very excited. He has his first show coming up
I would
for the
think
holidays.
that in your stand-up routine, you can
Hmm.
you can throw in just a little bit of a song thing in there.
Maybe I should. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
why
I
not?
also feel like so the last time I did karaoke actually before, I I bring, I guess, comedy with the song I choose to sing. I sang a very vulgar song from Cardi B, very explicit song with rap involved. And it had a lot of laughs because I think it was just very funny for people to hear that with a French accent. It's kind of unexpected. So WAP is
Cool.
my go-to song for karaoke, but I didn't do it on Saturday night.
Anyway,
Wanted to keep it
poten
appropriate.
the potential is there within you. We had our discussion with our exes, and for some reason, for both of us, the spirituality seemed to crop up connected with that in our lives. So
Yeah.
why don't we spend a little time talking about our spirituality and what that means to us and what our path has been? And
Mhm.
so, why don't you start?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think for me, I really became more spiritual, yeah, after my divorce. I think there's something about it to be said about when you're going through, tough time. And, even though for me, like the divorce was my decision, it was still a hard one to make, right? I, got in a relationship really young. And I went through everything at the same time. Like I lost my job, decided to get a divorce within a month. Also was going through some health issues.
Yeah.
Um, and which I think sometimes is a way for the universe to, clear the way for you. Um, but just, moving in, starting a new job, and I got so lucky and I'm so happy I was able to bounce back and find a great opportunity, was able to move to LA. It was still feeling very lonely. And I think in that loneliness, I became, yeah, more and more spiritual. And I guess I started, I don't know, I guess I started believing a little bit more into the magic of this world. So I grew up in, Catholic, right? It's like the major religion in France. And I didn't go to Catholic school. I was going to public school, but I would do like a Catholic class once a week. And I've done everything, communion, confirmation, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because to me, there was something I could feel a disconnect between me and that. I think part of it I connected to. Um, and I think that was kind of like my spiritual part that was already kind of there.
So
But
did your family, or was your family religious, and did they go to church on every Sunday?
so no, not every Sunday. My family is more like, I guess, like moderate. Like wouldn't go to church all the time, but still wanted us to have that education.
Right.
Um, but I would say that something though that I see as a disconnect is that we actually knew people that would go to church every Sunday. But how can I say this? Those were not necessarily the nicest people. And to me, that was really fascinating. I was like, how can you
Yeah.
just behave this way and then go to church every Sunday? And to me, that was, and by the way, I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying there's, talking about specific people, but to me created a separation in my mind, a dissociation of being like, oh, wait, I don't think going to church equals, um, living, a life by, what the Bible teaching. And
Right.
so, but it gave me pause. And obviously being gay also like, you know,
Mm.
when you're a gay kid raised in the Catholic religion, you obviously have to take a step back at some point if like if you decide to come out as gay
Yeah.
and really be honest with yourself and go on that journey. You really have to question, okay, like is this working for me? And I think for me, the way I've been thinking about it lately is that I honestly, so today I don't identify as being Catholic. Like I think I'm more like spiritual slash new age, kind of like maybe a little bit hippie, kind of thing. The universe, my crystals and everything. I'm very LA, I guess, in that sense. But you know what? That's what works for me.
Yeah.
And the way I've been thinking about it is that I choose the belief that I think are making me a better person, and I think are making me having a more positive impact in the world.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I don't care if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Those are my beliefs. It works for me. And I
Right.
think, I wouldn't encourage anyone to really, I hope everyone will actually choose beliefs that works more for them and for the world. Because what's the freaking point otherwise?
Right.
Yeah. So what about you? So I know you grew up Buddhist.
Mhm.
Um, so first, do you still define yourself as a Buddhist?
Yeah. I, to me, my Buddhist upbringing, I wouldn't say my parents were religious, but
Mhm.
Buddhism is so much a part of the culture that, just the fact that, I'm Japanese and Buddhist, um, it's just a part of who I am, not necessarily in a religious way, but in a spiritual way. But anyway, but that really was it was my foundation, but, I didn't have any practice, we weren't religious and so my biggest, shift, my spiritual transformation, you might say, happened with the end of a relationship, of course.
Mm.
I just realized how much you and I, have so much in common.
Yeah.
Well, when we split up, it was like the end of who I thought I was. It was like I went into the darkest place. I call it the dark night of my soul. Um,
Mm.
it's like every part of me was it's like, "Who am I? What happened?" And,
Yeah.
I went into a deep, deep I wouldn't say depression, and I never got, like, suicidal or anything like that. I just was lost. I was a lost soul. And, I just happened to stumble into a sort of like a new thoughts, new age kind of, center, and it just changed my whole life, and it opened me up. This particular center, eh, was it embraced every path, and so when you ask me what I am, I would say I'm eclectic. So I learned about every religious path and spiritual path out there, and I got exposed to them all because this particular center had all the new age speakers and they had workshops and they had retreats, and so I went to every single one of them, and I just realized that they're all the same. There's just a common denominator, and to me, which is universal love and acceptance and finding the God within yourself. And so I tried everything. And are you familiar with Esalen?
No, I'm not.
Oh my gosh, you must go. So Esalen is in Northern California. And where am I thinking? Uh, anyway, um, it's an incredible. It's like one of the first kind of centers, retreat centers that offered Gestalt and encounter groups and primal scream and just all these ways of therapy. And so I went to there. I went to other retreats. I started going to close optional retreats, and I was running around naked in the
Is
hot.
that okay?
And you got to understand, for a Japanese woman raised the way I was, do,
Yeah.
doing something like that was really a stretch. And I
Yeah.
learned how to do rebirthing,
So
and I
okay, so what's rebirthing?
rebirthing is just using your breath in in a transformational way.
Okay.
And there's another discipline that uses the same breath work, and I can't remember it right now. At any rate, you breathe, and it brings you into an altered state, and you get in touch with some really deep stuff. And
Mm.
um, yeah, I'll try to I'll rebirth you the next time I see you.
Yes, please. I mean, I'm a big believer in,
Oh,
I
I think
think
you would.
there's yeah, there's so much that come from breathing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's really fascinating, but I would like to go back a second. You mentioned something around like primal scream therapy. What is that? Because okay, let me know what it is. I think I might have done something similar in acting school once, but I want to hear from you. What is that?
Uh, it's all sort of the same thing. It's like getting going very deep.
Mm, yeah,
Beating pillows and yelling,
yeah.
doing, yelling and screaming and crying and becoming hysterical. Primal, just getting down to the nitty gritty, the core. the very deepest part of who you are, uh,
Mm,
and doing all these techniques to bring it all out.
yeah.
Anyway, so I started going to ashrams. I was going to Buddhist retreats, meditation, silent meditation. Um, so anyway, I so what came out of it for me? Oh, yes, I must get to the most important part, which was I was a nurse uh, then, and I was into critical care, intensive care, and I was an educator, so I taught critical care. I taught nurses, and when began my journey and my awakening, I turned into my critical care nursing into a holistic health. And
Mm,
so I began to do my own workshops for nurses on energy healing, hands-on healing, uh, Reiki, and meditation, and all the things that a nurse could do at the bedside for a
yeah.
patient. And so anyway, I it transformed my nursing career as well as
Wow.
my personal self. So yeah, it's been quite a journey and exciting. It's exciting every day because I believe in uh, a, a universe and the energy. I believe in the law of attraction. I believe in synchronicity, which happens like every day. Um,
Mm,
uh, it's like it's so powerful, and seeing the energy that is in not only within yourself, but in with everything. Well, like food, even. It's got energy, and the kind of energy you bring in is the kind of energy you put out. So, so I think you and I have crystals all over. I
I mean, look at my shelves over
have
there.
a
It's
whole
so
bunch of
crystals.
crystals. Um,
That's amazing. So I wanted to ask you, so
I think that's
what's
why
like
I think that's why you and I connected.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think which is so interesting and fascinating. Like we're obviously so different, and yet we have some like strong overlap on certain topics in our lives. Um, do you still like what's your daily like practice? For example, do you like meditate on a regular basis?
Not as regular as I used to. Oh, yeah. So I have an important story to tell. So I do yoga stretches, and yeah, I started doing other disciplines that involve energy, Tai Chi,
Okay,
Qigong, yoga. So I also started teaching that to nurses too. But I do yoga stretches every day. I do my Tai Chi. And uh, what was your
that's
question?
amazing. Oh, if you meditate.
Oh, yeah, meditate. So yeah, I was much more disciplined before, but I still meditate, but certainly not as regularly as I should. This is an important story. So a couple of years ago, I was very ill, and I just developed this sort of rare and uh, unknown autoimmune kind of illness.
Mm,
So I was laid up for almost the whole year, but it was pretty bad. And I was in pain, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know, am I going to recover? I it was a scary time. But I must mention my beautiful husband Richard, because my God, he was so supportive and there for me. And of course, he's a nurse, so that helps
mm,
too. But anyway, so what happened was I was so scared, and I lost again. It was almost like I was reverting back to that time, and I and it just suddenly dawned on me. I said, "Wait a minute, what happened to all the tools that I had when I was going through my dark time, and I was working hard at my spirituality? What happened to all those tools that my affirmations, you know,
mm,
my meditations and stuff like that?" And then it's like, "Oh my God, my binder. I have a binder of all of my tools and affirmations and, techniques and everything that I've kept, and I used to do it regularly. I com
Wow.
I had completely forgot about it. And it was so easy for me to go back into the negative thinking and, you know,
Mm,
get scared and not having hope or trust in the spirit and the universe. So anyways, I started going back into that, and it's like during the midst of my illness, it just brought a whole new, awareness again back, and, I wasn't scared anymore. It was
wow.
trusted. I trusted whatever is gonna happen will happen, and I'm in good hands, so the point that I want to bring up is all the work that we do on these paths can so easily be lost and forgotten, and then we go
Mm,
back to being human, and
yeah.
and then we get back into that old all the old thoughts and all the old patterns. It does take a discipline to it does take, like, a regular practice,
Yeah.
uh, so
It
so not to lose it.
Yeah, it truly does. And I'm, obviously so, sorry to hear that you went through that difficult time, but, glad that it allowed you to, reconnect with all those tools.
Yeah,
But I agree with you. It's so easy to just fall back into, default human mode. I'm
that's
also
a good
guilty of
way.
that sometimes.
That's a good
And yeah, I also have a lot of tools, and I feel like a lot of the tool you mentioned, I also use. Meditation, affirmation. I've also experimented with like EFT tapping for like, releasing old wounds. Um, and but sometimes we just, yeah, as you say, we're just human. It's so easy to just go back, and sometimes I will be like very anxious or stressed out about something, and then I take a step back, like, whoa,
Yeah,
why? That
yeah.
no, that's not serving me. That's just bad emotion. But I think to me it's really fascinating. Like I know another tool I use a lot is actually journaling.
Mhm.
It really helps me take a step back, trying to understand, and also like letting those emotions flow. At some point you were mentioning the type of therapy when you scream it,
Yeah,
like fight a pillow and everything. So I did something similar in acting school at some point.
yeah.
We needed to do like the primal scream. And it was just so weird. And if someone could have seen us do that as a group, it was freaking insane.
Oh, yeah.
But I
It
felt it it just felt so relaxing afterwards
yeah,
to just let that out.
a
And
relief.
so, right, yes. And it's actually something that since a couple of years I try to do more is like when emotions arise, and I feel like I'm pretty, I mean, I don't know if I'm more, no, I guess I'm emotional. And I feel like when that happens for me, if I'm in a setting that I can let it out, like mostly by myself, if I'm not in a, social environment,
Right.
I actually let it out. So I cry, scream very easily, but, and sometimes I like people actually must think, if people were seeing me, they would be like, this man is insane. But actually, I feel like you just let it go and you move on instead. And if you don't do that, I feel like you just carry that emotion, and it's just nurture negativity in your mind and body. So, like, I think there's a lot of to learn with kids. Kids don't hold
Yeah.
emotion. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
think we need
absolutely.
to get a little bit back to that.
Yes, and in a car, being in a
Yeah.
car also can where you can release it.
I think meditation helps me to also, understand better what's going on, and going back to a more positive emotional state, and
So
be more
when
conscious.
you say you meditate, and I wanna get to our culturally distressed moment here, but, are you talking about a regular time, a regular place, and a regular position? And
I try. Yeah, I feel like I haven't been more regular with it than I used to.
um,
I had a time in my life where I was meditating twice a day, morning and nights, like 30 minutes, which was a commitment, but I needed to do that back then. I feel
yeah,
like now I try to do it more regularly, but it's more like on a on-demand basis. But ideally, I actually like to do it when I wake up. Um,
Is there a name for a technique that you use or
so I've actually like developed my own technique, I guess, which is I picked up from a lot of different things.
uh,
And so I do like unguided meditation. So I'm not listening to someone guiding me. I'm just doing it myself. But what I do actually is that you know, breathe. I try to visualize breathing through the different chakras.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
guess I stole that from, Eastern culture.
Uh,
Um, and just focusing on each chakra, because I feel like the chakra give you like a good, for me, and I'm not an expert by any mean on them, but to me, it allows me to focus on um, different aspects of, life. And so I will actually focus on each one and, just also focus on the emotion associated to that. And I will go, you know, going through the different chakra. I usually will do like 20 minutes. And
yeah.
then after that, I look at myself in the mirror and I say my affirmation.
Oh, that's a great tech. That's great. That the breath is everything. It's
It
it's
is.
so powerful, and certainly I use the breath for my meditation practice,
Yeah.
just focusing on the breath. Yeah,
Yeah, I do this thing where like I try to, inspire, then I take a quick break and then I inspire a bit more before exhaling very slowly. I feel
mhm.
like that what works best for me. And I also do that to get my stress into control. Like even now, like when I need to perform, I actually use breath before going on stage just to make sure I'm in a good
Oh, yeah.
emotional state. Yeah. Which
Oh,
is, it's fascinating. I feel like when I remember this acting coach in Paris when we're talking about stress, and she told me, stress never goes away. You just learn how to deal with it.
mhm.
Because I thought when I was younger, I thought that at some point I would never have stress, that I could fix it. But what I realized now is that no, it's always there. Sometimes it creeps in and it gets better overall, but like you
Yeah,
just go back to your tools and you get better and better at handling it. Um,
that's it. That's it right there.
so wait, before we actually go to the final segment, I have to ask, I need to hear more about this clothing optional retreat you've done. Where was it? What did you do? What happened? Is it just like running around naked?
No, it's very, it's, yeah, we need to talk about this a little later. It's very physically and intimacy. It's about being comfortable with who you are, with your body. It's about being comfortable with other people's bodies, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's much more than just running around. It's actual
Yeah,
physical touch and learning how to be naked.
yeah. I mean, it does make sense. I think, you know, there's so much to be said about like, and I can also relate to that living in a place that is very focused on the physical aspect of what our bodies should be. I think a lot of gay men living in LA, can relate to, body dysmorphia and feeling like your body is never good enough,
Yeah,
and everything. So I can see how it's freeing. And, since we're talking about it, I've dabbled a couple times in my life going to, clothing optional beaches. And I actually think it's very liberating to just do that. And like, this is who I am,
oh,
I'm
absolutely.
comfortable in my body and.
Yeah, from, my background, I was raised very inhibited and
Yeah.
always, like, ashamed almost, uh, of your body, and, so it was something that I needed to do, and actually I
Yeah.
still do it. I still go to retreats and workshops where they offer that.
I love that. I think it's time that I share the story of the demon Twinks from Minnesota. Because there's a story, Miko, and I think it's time for me to share it. So, last year we were in Palm Springs for Pride weekend, and it was great. And we went to a circuit pool party, which is basically a lot of gay men in speedos, dancing, drinking. I make a joke that we also draft the gay agenda for when we take over, when Pete Buttigieg is president of this country. But basically it was very crowded and there were like inflatable structure on the swimming pool. And my friend and I, we were able to get one at the beginning, which was very lovely because we were all on this inflatable thing, just, chatting, having a good time. And at some point, one of my friends knew someone. At some point, one of my friends knew a demon twin from Minnesota, and he made the mistake to invite him on the inflatable thing. And what happened is that I was chatting with my friend, and then I turn around, and it's just the two of us with like 12 demon twins from Minnesota. All of my friends have led the inflatable thing, and it's chaos. It's like lots of partying and everything. And I'm like, my God, what's happening here? But at some point, one of them came to talk to me. And when that happens, the first thing I think, I'm like, oh my God, he's trying to bridge the generational gap. Maybe he's gonna, talk about our community and what he hopes for the future. Maybe you want to ask me a question about the past. Maybe he's going to ask me how it was to be gay in the 60s, because that's probably how old he thinks I am. And he asked me, and so he talked to me and he's like, excuse me, can you like go to the side? Because I'm trying to take a pictures of my friends. So he actually asked me to get outside of the frame of the picture he was taking, which I think was so rude, knowing that I was his elder and I was on this inflatable thing first. So I gave up and I just joined my friends outside of the inflatable thing, went to the bathroom and cry. And that was my cultural distress moment, trying to connect with a demon twin from Minnesota. That's my story.
Can you define demon twink?
Oh my yes. Yes, so oh my God. Okay, so twink is in gay culture usually like a younger guy in his like 20s, like very usually like thin, that has kind of like that, yeah, lean body type. Um And so Demon Twig is a joke that I'm not sure how it originated, but it's basically a joke of like one of these gays that has an evil personality. That's kind of like toxic, I guess. And I'm making a joke. I'm sure they were lovely.
Yeah.
It was just like a funny moment to experience, just like the chaos of this party, and then just being asked to basically I was basically ruining their picture. It's how it felt like. And I feel like they should have given me a little bit more respect as their elder. And I think that's something we should do more and more in our communities. Just respect our elders. So yeah.
You're absolutely right. We're gonna have to write a vocabulary list.
For okay, so
Because
I'll
sometimes,
start I'll start
yeah,
a glossary for us. Yeah.
you use 'cause some cultural terms that
Because I taught you Gefope, Knights Demon Twinks. So I think yeah, next time I'll keep teaching you the gay glossary, Yoko.
okay, thank you.
So, but what about you? What's your cultural distress
Um,
moment?
every time I start thinking about it, I sort of relate it to whatever we discussed. So what we discussed was our spiritual path. And
Hmm.
so, when I was starting to do this, get into it heavily, I was always the only Asian and certainly the only Japanese. And so I'm not quite sure why, whether it's all these alternative therapies, all these different paths, spiritual paths. I understand that there's some Asian cultures that don't think very much about therapy uh,
Mm,
and or different kinds of spirituality. So I think that was a factor. The other factor that I think I realized is a lot of these disciplines that I got into, a lot of these retreats and workshops that I participated in were sort of geared towards more of the white middle class population.
mm.
So that's another reason I think I was often the only person of color at all these things. So generally speaking, because I always thought I was white anyways, internally, um, or I wanted to be, um, I didn't mind it so much, except that there were a few incidences where I felt a direct kind of racist attitude towards me. Like some of the exercises we would do, I would feel this person was having some issues. And matter of fact, one of them actually blatantly said it was because I was Japanese that they had issues with me, which I never felt that.
Wow.
I never felt that way before. But then I was thinking, hey, these are like spiritual retreats. What the hell are you doing here if you're not open minded to accept everyone? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was gonna be my reaction as well to like,
it
like
put
in
me off guard.
spiritual retreats, come
Yeah,
on.
it's like, wait a minute, what's the matter with you? But people, even though they go to spiritual retreats, they can't help what they were raised with
Yeah.
and the beliefs that they have internally. So it's probably good that they said it out loud because it was a teaching moment for them because I said some things and I started crying and that person couldn't understand why I was crying. Like, what's the matter? I said, what's the matter? I says, you have something against, you don't even know me
Yeah.
because I'm Japanese. That's the most racist thing you could say and feel. And he didn't really get it until
I mean,
I
it sounds like he was definitely coming from a place of privilege, not being able to even understand why this was impacting you, which is wild to me.
wow. He finally got it, but it took a while to understand. When he
Well,
saw how hurt and emotional I was, th
yeah,
then he started to realize, "Oh, what did I say?"
yeah. Well,
And,
hopefully he grew from it.
I hope so.
But damn, yeah, I'm sorry you got to experience, yeah, racism this way. This is, yeah, I can also like imagine how hard it must have been because, in a spiritual setting, you feel more vulnerable. You share a lot of yourself, right? So it's definitely not, I mean, racism is not okay anywhere, but I feel like in spiritual, it's even like so much less, it's so inappropriate.
Yeah.
Um,
So anyways, that's my cultural distress moment, and we invite all of our listeners to, tell us about your culturally distressed moment, and, just send us a line, and maybe we'll use it on our podcast. So it's
Yes,
time.
you know where to find us, guys. Kashori Distress Pod. We're on Instagram, TikTok. We also have a Gmail address with the same handle. So, yeah, reach out.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you and hope you come back. Sayonara and aloha.
Au revoir. Merci.
Be well and take good care.